Hey everyone, hello family and friends, Paul Walker here, and we're here for video number 15 out of the 100 day video challenge. This video really sort of ties in again with yesterday's video, which was, pre-planning and having yourself prepared as the sponsor to bring a new person into the team. So I also went through the video yesterday describing the mindset and, a couple of little things that, you should have. This video follows on directly from that, okay? So this is about when you actually bring a person into your team. So obviously they sign up, they've paid, they've got their get started emails or, the get start program, whatever the case may be. Now it's kind of up to you to obviously introduce them to you and your team, get to know them a little bit better, and then obviously sort of set them up for what I like to call a business plan, okay? And this is to a lot of people a little unusual to a certain extent, but certainly something that I've picked up from the professionals, really the people who obviously have big business, have a lot of volume, have a lot of people, and certainly a lot of people who stick around, stay in the business. I think this is one of the key elements. So it's about having a business plan. So typically what I would do is within sort of the first week of someone joining, but preferably within the first sort of 2 to 3 days of them actually sort of signing up and paying and all that sort of stuff, give them a couple of days just to obviously wrap their head around it and obviously get their back office set up, those initial get started things. Then, they might have a little bit of a play around. They might sort of jump on a Facebook or maybe shoot a video, something like that. That's cool, that's fine. But as I said, I typically like to try and grab them within that first sort of 2 to 3 days of them sort of joining up and really sitting down with either the individual or if they're doing it as a couple team, obviously sit down with both of them. Okay, so I'm just going to move my screen here because I've written down like sort of 8 key points that I like to discuss with them, and really this forms the foundation of their kind of business plan moving forward. So typically, what I'll do is in the upcoming videos, as I continue to go through this 100 day challenge, I'll go through more of the recruiting process and kind of what I say and a couple of really cool, one-liners and tips and strategies that I've picked up. But one thing I like to say, and if you've worked with me, you'll know this already, is that when I sort of speak with my potential prospects before they sign or sign on the dotted line, I really make this clear that I expect a level of commitment from from these people, and basically my level of commitment, my minimum level is that they give sort of 7 to 10 hours per week to this business. Now, if that's the absolute minimum that they can do, I can live with that and I can certainly work with that. Anything lower than that, then I tend to let that person go and I won't sort of choose to work with them. But if they can, make a commitment that they can at least do 7 to 10 hours a week, which isn't much, that's only like an hour a day, an hour and a half every single day. If they can give me that, then I can work with that. So I like to, as I said, just sort of outlay that particular expectation of mine before they even sort of sign on the dotted line, just so that we're both clear. So moving forward with that, based on that sort of expectation, this is kind of the business plan that I like to go through with my new team members once they sign up. So let me just move this across here. Okay, so I hope you can see that. I might just see if I can expand it and make it a little bit bigger. Okay, cool. So firstly, when they join and I set up this meeting with them, first thing I say is obviously congratulations. I say congratulations on making a decision first and foremost, and congratulations on making a positive move forward in their life, because this is something that I see as being a positive step forward for them. Obviously, if they're just in here to sort of test the waters, if they're not really sure if an online sort of network marketing or online marketing business is for them, then they wouldn't have got past sort of my screening. So if someone's come in and they're at this point, then I know that they're committed. I know that they really want to give this a red hot run, and they've got some dreams, they've got some goals. So this is about identifying that. But as I said, just firstly congratulating them on the positive decisions that they've made. That today is really the first day of their new life. Okay, so number one, what I like to do is, again, if it's an individual or a team, a couple, whatever the case may be, get them to set their money goal for the first 3 months, okay? So get them to really identify what sort of, realistic money that they're hoping to achieve within the first 3 months. And again, this is something that I really sort of reiterate with the person before they join up is at bare minimum, again, they've got to give me a commitment to 7 to 10 hours per week, but they've got to give me a commitment of at least 30 days, okay? Minimum of 30 days to really, give this a red hot go, okay? Obviously, I'd prefer at least 60 to 90, stick with me for 90 days. And at the end of the 90 days, if you haven't made the results or, you think that this isn't for you, then, let's part ways and we'll leave it at that. But I think 90 days is really a great time frame for someone who's brand new to come in, kind of feel their way around it, really make sure that this is something that they want to do. And obviously they're going to go through some highs and they're definitely going to go some lows in that 90-day period. But if they can get to that 90-day period and say, you know what, yeah, let's keep going, then I know that, this person is definitely going to stick around. So as I said, let's set the money goal for 3 months, okay? And it has to be realistic. You will get people who say that they want to make, $1 million in 3 months, okay? I'm not going to say that it's impossible or improbable, but the chances of that happening obviously are very slim. That's sort of like winning the lotto type thing. I'm not going to say, as I said, I'm not going to say that no one can't go and do that, and certainly, try their hardest to achieve that. But realistically, let's look for a realistic number. If you're brand new, you've never been online before, certainly never owned a business before, we need to be realistic, okay? So set a realistic sort of 3 month monthly goal. At the end of 3 months, how much do they would like to aim for? What is their goal? What would they like to achieve within that 3 months, okay? And then once we sort of clarify that goal and it's realistic, work backwards, okay? So per month, what are the milestones we need to hit? So in the first month, I tend to keep that a little bit lower, okay? Second month, try and boost that up a little bit, and then obviously the third month, that's the goal, okay? So I don't exactly divide their goal by 3, because to a brand new person, say for instance they wanted to make, and I think realistically, say if someone wanted to make, between sort of $5,000 to $10,000 in a 3 month period, going from nothing to that goal. I think that is realistic for a real hard worker and someone who has a high achievement level. If they're a mid-range person, if you think they've got some skills and they've got some dedication, but they might have, they might still be working a full-time job or a part-time job, doing this part-time. Realistically, I think a 3 month goal would be around that sort of $5,000 mark. Again, at a real kind of push, depending on the person. And if someone's really just sort of working this business like bare minimum 7 to 10 hours a week, I would call that a casual basis. I would think within a 3 month period, they could generate anywhere from a couple $100 to, again, that sort of $5,000 mark being the maximum sort of threshold that I think a person could do. So based on that, as I said, divide that up, but obviously keeping your first month relatively small and achievable, because you want the person to work and achieve it so that they get that confidence. And then you want to slightly increase it for month 2, saying, well, you did month 1, you just need to work a little bit harder and put some other things in place and have your team work for you. You can get to level 2, and when they get to month 2 goal, then you say, well, okay, here we go, month 3, this should be a breeze because you've already made X amount. So that's how I like to try and figure it out and divide it up, again, based on what that end goal is. Again, number 3, work that out per week, okay? So this is about chunking these goals down into smaller, bite-sized chunks so that, as I said, that brand new prospect realistically can look at each of these goals and go, you know what, I can do this. You know what, I can absolutely do this. And if 1 + 1 = 2, if I can hit this weekly goal, and then I hit my second weekly goal, it means I'm halfway to my monthly goal. And when they get to week 4 and they hit that monthly goal, great. I'm only now a third of the way to reaching my big goal. Okay, so you can see how by breaking it down and chunking it into little pieces, and then you hit those little ones, and you keep adding and compounding, and you build that momentum. That 3 monthly goal doesn't seem as daunting, as big as it did. Here we are on day 1. Okay. So break it down to the weekly, and then step 4. So how many people is that going to take, and what level of sponsorship? So again, depending on the company that you're in, you might have a beginner's level or an intermediate, a mid-range, price range, and then you might have a high ticket. So depending on where they come in at that level, work out, how many people is it going to take. So is it going to take you, 10 people at the beginner level, 5 at the medium level, or maybe 2 at the higher level to reach that goal, whatever the case may be. And obviously you would know whatever the costing of your product and stuff is, okay? So kind of break that down, get as clear and as concise as possible. And obviously you might have some variations. You might say, well, cool, if we get 20 people at beginner level, then we only need 5 at the mid-range and maybe 1 at a high ticket, or vice versa if they're good at selling or the product's really, really good, and you can train that person to maybe start from a mid-range and work up, and if need be they need to sell down. Whatever the case may be, try and maybe work out 1 to 3 different scenarios based on how many people and what levels of sponsorship. Okay, again, if it's just a flat out one level, they just pay a one-time fee, then you just simply multiply that fee by how many people you need to get to that dollar amount per week, per month, per 3 months. Okay. Again, based on the average results, how many people do they need to prospect each day, each week, each month? Okay, so we have the monthly goal now. We have the weekly and the daily goal. So in regards to different levels of sponsorship, how many people does that mean that they need to be talking to each day? How many people, how many leads do they need coming into their funnel? How many people are they actively going out and speaking to face-to-face or speaking to on Facebook? Okay, so again, break that number down. If you think they're going to need at least 100 leads per week, how many is that people a day? Is that obviously based on a 5 or a 7 day week? Whatever the case may be, 10 to 20 people per day they need to be speaking to or having coming into their marketing funnel, so that they're getting exposure to to the sales page or the sales video. Okay, so really chunk down that number. So again, daily they know I need to speak to minimum 10, 20 people per day. Okay, and again, based on how many hours that they work. So you've got to keep that goal realistic. So if they're only working 7 to 10 hours per week, so if they're only working 1 hour per day, realistically, for them to go through and speak to 20 people, 20 brand new people in an hour can be done. But, have they got funnels and that set up where in that hour they're simply calling the leads that are coming in? Or, have they got drips and drabs of leads coming through and then they're getting onto Facebook and actually prospecting themselves? Or are they spending an hour throughout whatever they're doing with their job and running their errands and stuff? Are they, speaking to cold market people in the supermarkets, where they work in the job, picking up their kids from school, going to activities, whatever the case may be? Break that down. How many people do they need to speak to, and how many people really? It's about a numbers game, and it's about how many eyeballs you can get, on the presentation in front of, your product. Okay, so we need to, as I said, break that down, make it clear, make it realistic. If they can realistically only speak to 10 to 15 people per hour or per shift that they do, whatever the case may be, then that obviously is going to affect the money goal. And again, you just need to be realistic on that and find that balance. Okay, if someone's obviously wants the big dollars, but they're only going to put in small amount of hours, then you really need to say to them that that's unrealistic and that's not going to happen. And maybe they're not really the person that that you should have decide to work with, because you've got to be realistic. And the big problem with this industry is that a lot of people get promised the earth. A lot of people get promised the big dream of travels and cars and money and big houses and all that sort of stuff. You can absolutely have that, but that requires massive work over a long period of time. Dedication, duplication. The people that they're going to be bringing in, they need to be able to duplicate this same system. So you got to have all these little things ironed out. So if a person comes in and says, hey, in 3 months, I want to be a millionaire, yes, it can happen. But if they say, I want to be a millionaire in 3 months, but I'm only going to work an hour a day to do it, that's too unrealistic, okay? That would just not happen. So as I said, you really need to be on the same page in regards to that, okay? So again, how many hours are they willing to put towards the business each day, each week, each month to hit that target, okay? Then you want to define the marketing, their action plan, okay? So once you've settled on the monetary amount, roughly per month, per week, what they need to hit per day, then again, on average, how many people they need to speak to, how many people they need to put in front of the presentation every day, every week, every month to hit that goal, okay? How are they going to do that, okay? So are they just going to solely be Facebook marketing? Are they going to do some paid stuff on Facebook, or are they going to do, prospecting, kind of cold, as I say, cold calling, but basically approaching people on Facebook? Are they going to just be focusing on videos, and then they could be doing a combination of things? Whatever the case may be, define what that marketing action plan is, okay? So that you both know what that plan is, so that you as a sponsor, you can help support them, and they as the new prospect, they know solely what they're focused on. Okay, we're just doing Facebooking, okay? And then them as an individual, them as a couple, they can obviously sort out how they're going to work that into their schedule, okay? But really define that action plan, and again, that keeps them on track, so that you as a sponsor just got to reiterate that they're going to see bright shiny objects. They might even hear you, the sponsor, talking about a different funnel system. Maybe you, the sponsor, are getting a lot of leads from YouTube, but your new prospect wants to focus on Facebook, okay? Tell them that they've got to stay focused. They've got to stay focused on that one method. They've got to become good. They've got to become great. And then, being a master at that particular funnel system will obviously be driving in a lot of leads for them, but then they'll feel comfortable enough to branch out into something else, okay? So it's twofold, all right? So it's about you knowing exactly what they're doing, but it's also about them staying on track with what they need to do, okay? And then the final one, this is the big reason. So a lot of people will get a little bit scared. They'll get a little bit like, wow, this is a big mountain to climb. This is a little bit daunting, okay? And it can be for some people. For some people who come in, thinking this monetary goal of, oh, I want to make $100,000 in the first 3 months. Yes, it can be done, but when you actually sit there and break down the numbers with them and really paint out the picture that, to earn $100,000 in a 3-month period means that, they might have to be spending sort of 5-6 hours every day on their business, means that, they've got to be generating 100 leads every single day. And out of those 100 leads, they at least need 2 to 3 people, bare minimum, signing up at X level. Like, when you spell that out and break that down for people, it becomes very daunting. People can get pretty scared about, oh my God, like, I didn't realize it was going to take, this much work, or I didn't realize I needed that many people. Or, you're going to, that aha moment, that penny dropping, that's what's going to happen with this business plan. And it's better to do this now, as I said, in the first couple of days, really spell it out. Because if that person just gets total cold feet and goes, you know what, no, this isn't for me, well, they're only 2 or 3 days into it. Okay, if they really want to back out, get a refund, whatever, this is the opportune time to do it. Okay, saves getting them a week, a month, 6 months into it. Then they have this aha moment, but the whole time they've been blaming you, they've been blaming the system, they've been blaming whatever else, and you just can't break down that barrier because they've figured this out, but they haven't communicated that to you. Okay, and obviously you don't want to have relationships like that with your team members. So that's why doing this is so imperative. But a way to get around that is to find their reason why, okay? So obviously they joined this business for a reason, and hopefully you've already discussed that. Hopefully you've qualified them for what their reason why is. But now in this business plan, this is about going that next level deeper, okay? So whatever it is, commonly you get, I want to be financially free, I want to be time free, I want, flash cars, I want to own my own house, I want to go traveling, I want to send my kids through college, okay? Whatever the case may be, they are all great and very valid reasons, okay? But you need to go that a little bit deeper, okay? When someone says, I want to be able to, retire my wife or retire my husband from their corporate job or from their job so that they can spend more time with the kids. Awesome. That's great, okay? That is a great reason why. But go deeper. And what I mean by go deeper is, well, what happens if you don't do that, okay? What happens if you don't push yourself at this business and you don't achieve that goal in the time frame you want to do it, or you don't achieve that goal because your fire in your belly's just gone out? What does that mean? It means that your husband, your wife's got to stay at that job that they hate. It means that you've still got to find a way to balance, quality time with your kids. It means that your kid's going to grow up with without the parent there, or the parent that's always working, who's tired, who's stressed out. It means that, maybe do you have to find money in your budget somewhere to maybe bring in a nanny so that, you can work, so that you can spend more time with your kids, and while the nanny cleans the house or, runs some errands for you, whatever the case may be. So go that next level deeper, really spell it out, really find out the core reason why. Yes, we all want money. Yes, we want time freedom. Yes, we want to spend more time, with our family and friends and not be at a job. But why? Go deeper. Find out that real the root, find out the core reason why, and find out and really discuss if by not achieving this goal, what does that mean? Who's going to be let down? Who's who's going to feel the brunt of that goal not being accomplished? Okay, what are you going to have to sacrifice to achieve that goal? Okay, it's easy to say, oh, okay, I'll give up, 7 to 10 weeks or 7 to 10 hours of my week to do this, but does that mean that you're only working this business for an hour, but you're still watching 3 hours of TV, or you're still going out and socializing and going to the football game, or whatever the case may be? So that's what I mean by really define their reason why. So identify it, and then go that next level deeper. Go 2 levels, 3 levels deeper. Go as far as you can to get that fire in the belly with those people or that person. It becomes apparent, like, you know what, I'm going to do this, because if I don't do it, then I'm not going to have the money to retire my husband or my wife. And if I can't retire my husband or my wife, that means my kids grow up with a parent that they don't get to see, who's stressed out, who's tired, who can't play with my kids. And if I have a husband or a wife that's tired and stressed and doesn't get to spend time with their kids, they get cranky, and the marriage suffers. And if the marriage suffers, then we're not happy. And if we're not happy, then the people around us aren't happy, and we're not providing a fun-loving environment for our kids. And if we're not providing a fun-loving environment for our kids, then our kids are going to grow up possibly resenting us. And if our kids grow up resenting us, and you can just spiral, and this can just go so far. And that's really what you need to do. Really get down to that core root, that core fire in the belly reason why. So that when you say to yourself, you know what, I'm gonna give up my TV because I need to spend 3 hours on the business because I want to get my husband out of work. And when you say that, think down, I want to get my husband out of work so that he can spend more time with my kids, because if he doesn't spend time with my kids, then he's going to be cranky and tired, and that's going to put stress on our relationship. And if there's stress on our relationship, that feeds onto our kids and to our friends and our family. And if our kids are unhappy, then they're not going to perform well at school. And if they don't perform well at school, that's more stress and agony. And as I said, you can see where I'm going with this. So it's about getting that deep with it, okay? And as you as a sponsor, by you knowing how deep their why is, you use that in that times when that sponsor is doubting, when they get negative, you can use that and say, hey, remember Mary, remember Bob, remember James, remember when we had this discussion, you told me that your why was you wanted to retire your wife, from her job. And the only way for you to do that was you had to earn $100,000 in 3 months. And the only way you were going to do that was you promised and you committed that you were going to work, 20 hours a week. And in that 20 hours, you were going to speak to 50 people every day. And out of those 50 people, you were going to put 20 of them in front of the business plan. And out of those 20, 10 would give you keen interest that they wanted to join. And out of those 10, 2 people were prepared to sign up on the dot. To use that reason why to remind them why they're doing it in those difficult times, okay? So that's why this business plan is so important. And as I say, this is something that I've picked up from, a couple of the real professionals, the real leaders within the network marketing business, within online business, online marketing business. And it's something that obviously I implement into my structure of how I run my business. So I hope that's helped you out. I hope that's given you some ideas and some fuel as to how important this step is, not just for you, but obviously for your prospect as well. And again, it's twofold. If your prospect goes through this and sees that this is something that you sort of set the standard on, well, what are they going to do? They're going to do the exact same thing with the people that they bring in. So therefore, you're going to get that duplication, and more than likely, and I can, as I said, pretty much, give this a stamp of approval that the people that go through the system and do this 100%, really spend the time to figure out the money, the people, the reason why, all that sort of stuff, they're the people that are going to stick around because it's clear. It's clear in their eyes, it's clear in their mind what they need to do. And they've got small, achievable chunk goals that they can hit. And when they hit it, they feel better, they feel more confident. They start getting rewards, people are signing up, they're getting the money that they want, and they're moving towards that goal. And also moving towards that goal, when they get to that goal, you set new ones, and you continually keep kind of doing this type of thing, okay? You might only do this with someone who's obviously making some good money. Maybe you do this once every 6 months, once every year, if they want to, okay? But the core reason is for those brand new people who are coming into this industry, coming into owning their own business, never done this before. This will help keep them on track. This will help them, really identify their why and their goals and make it realistic, okay? So hope that's helped you out, and that was it for video number 14. I look forward to speaking to you guys on video number 15, where I'm actually going to delve into the why. So I talked about going deeper levels. I'm going to show you a little bit more in detail how you can actually do that, and a couple of strategies that I use to help do that for myself, and obviously for the people that I speak with and stuff as well. So thanks so much. If you enjoyed this, please leave a comment, share, like this video, get the message around. If this has helped you and you believe this can help someone else in your team or someone that you know that's within the industry, please share this around. I'd really appreciate it. And as I said, any comments, any feedback, would love to hear it. Keep those messages coming. So that's it. I'm going to go enjoy my day. Have a fantastic day where you are. This is Paul Walker signing out. Speak to you guys all on video number 15. All right, guys. See ya.